Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fresh from the Trollbox, BitMEX's weekly trader podcast. Together with our CEO, Stephan Lutz, I'm Uzi from BitMEX, and I have the pleasure to have a quick interview with Stephan about what happened in the market today. Stephan, how are you doing?
Hi, Uzi. I'm doing well. Actually, that was a pretty good week. Lots of stuff happening, rumors, fake news, right? I mean, that's what you need to trade crypto and to make some money. So good news. I would even call this so far in October, as we are in full swing of going to 30,000. So having seen 29K today again. And overall, a very bullish sentiment on Bitcoin, higher lows, preparing for hopefully a robust 30,000, despite ETF fake news, right? Quite interesting, which gave an outlook of what will happen upon approval note.
Yeah, very good point, right? That was a very exciting Monday. The ETF canards that came from Cointelegraph literally shot Bitcoin across 30K for a very short moment, fell within 15 minutes. How did you perceive this? How did you live those days thereafter?
Well, pretty degenerate. So when I saw it going up, of course, I went long. Then I was actually liquidated on the way back down. It was very sharp. But what it gives you actually in terms of news and macro or fundamental analysis is that every news count, right? So everyone was super excited that finally it will be unlocked. Then it was recalled, but we will see Bitcoin ETF approvals, right? So which means we have more demand in the market. And that means rising Bitcoin prices, which is actually what everybody prepares for. I expect that we see less and less shorts in the market or long-term shorts, because long-term there will be ETF approvals, price will go up, demand will rise, which is good. Only question is how long will it take, right? When will it actually happen? Because there are two reasons. One is, yeah, we still need more Bitcoin ETF approvals. That's number one. Number two is it a physical or a derivatives one? Number three actually is just because there's an approval doesn't mean it actually trades and builds a Bitcoin position. That can take anywhere from a week to a couple of months until final end users. So my grandma basically can really buy a Bitcoin ETF. So, and only then will the additional demand come to market and drive prices, right? What is more interesting is that even Larry Fink, right, the Blackrock CEO, he even admitted that Bitcoin might serve as a flight to quality asset in times of global uncertainty and more conflict. Which is along the lines of US dollar in the classical space, right, and TradFi in those situations, and Bitcoin serving the same for the crypto world.
Yeah, interesting. So you reckon, and Larry, quite frankly, was quick in giving an interview on Monday night, right? Pretty bullish about Bitcoin for the reasons you just said. But you're also saying if we see an approval, it's probably going to take us a few weeks until the first person can actually buy the ETF spot, right? So very interesting then to monitor this period too, and not just trade on the actual day and news, but see what's going to happen next. Cool. I mean, taking the BlackRock long-term view, what's your perspective short-term in terms of I think worsening geopolitical conflicts for sure. Do we see that supporting Bitcoin at this stage? Are we still talking about digital gold or?
Well, I'd say half, right? If you look more TradFi, I don't think so. Actually, TradFi always has a flight to the US dollar in such situations, just because of the fact that they have the biggest military in the world. You see that in rising yields in the US dollar assets as well. You see a broadening spread between US dollar and the major other currency like the euros or the yen. So you have a relative strength of the US dollar right now. You see that in Bitcoin as well, but it has a different reason. It's not that all of a sudden TradFi investors are going into Bitcoin, but people who are affected by those conflicts probably reallocate parts of their wealth into digital currencies, and Bitcoin in particular, and stablecoins, I guess, because they're better movable even than US dollars in the end, right? So if you need to leave a country, if you want to quickly transfer your wealth somewhere else, crypto assets are the thing to do that. It's even better than going through the classical financial world where it takes you up to a week until your money is there and you don't know where it is.
Yeah, very good point. And I guess one of the main drivers of this easy mobility of crypto assets is obviously the strong networks that we have. The strongest and biggest one, frankly, ETH, is a bit decoupling from Bitcoin, it feels. How do you see this?
Yes, totally. You see a relative weakness of ETH, which in a way for me is explainable. The thing is, Bitcoin produces news, number one, right? In Ethereum, there are no news actually right now in terms of adoption, new use cases, new networks coming, total value locked, etc. So in just relative terms, Bitcoin has a lot of news, ETH has none. So ETH doesn't move. Bitcoin moves, number one. Number two, you have even positive news and positive trend because of the flight or the expectation of the ETFs. Actually, we assume that Bitcoin will rise in value. We see and we know of the halving next year. So you have a positive momentum. Again, it's a timing thing. You can't tell whether it's just the news going up and then going down. I mean, as I said, we have October, so it's a pretty decent but slow trend upwards, which reflects this. In ETH, you have nothing like this. So no new big projects, no new, let's say, real world use cases. Even this narrative around real world assets, which is a big one where I see a lot of potential, but it hasn't been unlocked yet, which would call for ETH and some of the other level one chains that are in the same direction, but we have nothing. So in this calls then for a relative weakness of Ethereum compared to, I mean, stables are stable, but compared to Bitcoin in particular.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for the perspective. I guess looking at the prices, right, 29.2, keeping fingers crossed, October continues, and next time we speak, we see 30K crossed.
Hopefully, or I mean, at least hedge yourself a little bit, slightly below 29. Wait a moment, and if the trend continues, just go long then thereafter. I mean, that's
excellent. Thanks very much, Stephan. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Bye.
Happy weekend. Bye.